and maybe also decolonizing our languages and decolonizing the way we think, maybe also decolonizing poetry. I'm not a poet, I'll say that again, but how do we think about decolonizing and teaching and relearning everything that we've been taught? All right, I'd like to introduce you guys to Leana Hengari, the poet who's published her first book, Broken. Oh my god. Amazing. Painfully Beautiful, a book that I own, two copies by the way. One was gifted to me by Leana, and one I bought because I think it's important to support your friends. I have a copy right now that she gifted me, but I'm gonna purchase a copy. So buy yourself a copy, buy the book for someone else, please. So let me introduce you guys to Leana. So who is Leana? All right. Leana is a published author, poet, speaker who has shown herself to be a woman of resilience and dedication. She uses the power of words to bring healing through stories of adventure, overcoming pain, adversity, and being brave. As a trained lay counselor, Leana empowers individuals that may be walking through difficult or new seasons by providing a healthy mental framework for processing life situations. Passionate about transformation methods, using her life experience as a means to educate, inform, and create positive social change within her community. Leana is a member of the Professional Speakers Association of Namibia, and I don't know what this word is. Seagulls Toastmasters. Seagulls. Seagulls. Oh yeah. Say what's up, group. Okay. All right. Please put your hands together and welcoming Leana. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm blushing a bit. I think by now you know the name. It's Leana Hengari. I'm also known as Leana Daniels by the stage name. I'm a writer, a speaker. I'm so many different things, all the in between. So I do not want to be defined by one specific thing or one specific genre. So I like to believe myself as liquid, forever evolving, forever flowing and forming. And I think that's where the poetry part in me always comes out. I really love writing. I think those who know me knows how much I love writing, not just poetry, but articles on different topics. And that goes to the people I surround myself with. We can have like a very surfaced conversation, and a word will pop up, and I'll end up writing an article or poem around that. So yeah, my love for writing has led me to my second book, Shattered and Surviving, which we are here for. And I'm gonna read a few poems for you guys from the book, if I should. And those who purchase the book can also just go through the poems with me. So yes. So my first poem that I actually wanted to read, I really don't know. I have so many poems that I wanted to read first. That actually is a reflection of me. But China just spoke about the mirrors and how when she read my book, I have a couple of poems that speaks about mirrors. So if we go to page 52, it is titled Conversations with My Mirror. And this is a poem I wrote when, I don't know, I'm forever in certain spaces. So it's either I'm flowing or I'm down or just I'm there. And this was a poem where I did a reflection with myself.
And I had to understand when I look in the mirror, am I physical or am I spiritual, or who am I beyond what other people are seeing? Some people may see the physical part. Some can connect with me on a spiritual part, on an emotional part. We connect with people on different levels. So this was just me talking to my mirror about myself. Mirror says, look how far you have come. This is not you, I remember. Says, you should learn to stand taller, a little prouder. Says, I can still see the cracks in you. I can still feel your presence, but I acknowledge you. Mirror says, you look healthier, alive. You look like a human. Mirror says, you look like you have learned to accept yourself. I remind Mirror, I can't come this far to give up now. This is what survival looks like. This is what resurfacing every time you drown is. This is raising your head up high every time laying it down a little longer feels better. This is healing in the most unconventional way. Fighting and fighting when you fight ghosts that are made in your image. This is beauty in all its ugliest forms. Chasing demons that actually live inside of you, so you can never outrun them, no matter how fast you run. This is skin living, breathing and being. Even when the cracks are too deep to build over it, it still shows. This is tongue being too silent, numbed by violent experiences and anxiety attacks. Heart beating too fast for fear or fighting too long to keep it together. This is what pushing looks like. Pushing beyond the pain that lives inside of you. You wonder if you are in pain or if pain is pleasure. So you keep pushing, hoping that prayer is going to take the pain away. So you start confusing pain for a drug you can't live without. Because relapse looks like praying and cutting. Praying and pricking. Pricking and praying. Because you are now addicted to the pain. It gives you all kinds of pleasures you seem to enjoy. It makes your body feel alive. So you prick and pray. Prick and pray. Watch the blood form of a body of its own. You blame the skin for being too sensitive. Never the needle for its sharpness. This is wolf caged and monster tamed. And death taking all kinds of forms and motions. Anything just to stay afloat. This is what we call a jinx. This is hunter versus maker. Teacher versus student. Testing of lessons learned. This is not a battlefield. This is a war zone walking amongst you. You don't call it victim. You call it any other name that does not describe it. How it is still fighting for survival, you make it a soldier, a fighter. I'll tell you of all the battles I fought on, all the roads I've walked, and still you would wonder how I am still here talking to you right now. This one is because of all the strong women I'm surrounded with, starting from my mom, my 3 sisters that I grew up with, most of my female cousins, and my female friends. They tell you the ish they've gone through, and you just go like, girl, and we actually laugh about it. So this is for all the women that taught me something special about myself. China, you wanna come help me do this one?
Sure, I'll hold you from here.
Okay. Okay. How to carry grace on your hands every time you wipe the unseen tears away. Taught me that strength should not define me. As I am made from the soil, so my hope lays in how strong I stand. What woman taught me on being woman? Be a good woman. We don't want to be called a bitch. Be a gentlewoman. Men get it. Yes. Be a quiet woman.
Loudness makes them uncomfortable.
Be his woman.
A faithful woman makes a good woman.
Yes. Be the woman they want you to be. That patriarchy is power. That being woman means holding.
Hey, you're killing us.
And this world is home. So your touch is home. You heard that, woman? I learned from my mother that if I carry pain well, it is your power over anyone who dares to use it against you. That if I should remember, they will always blame you for their faults and weaknesses. After all, they are the sons of Adam. Right? that I carry conviction in my belly, yet I birth warriors. That they will make your body a canvas and spill their guilt all over it. That their tongues are made of bullets, but they will make you believe it tastes like honey. Wow. Being soft, being soft doesn't mean you should melt for anyone. Being raised by a strong woman doesn't make you strong. You have to become your own becoming. Taught me that you are the daughter of Jesus. So you sacrifice yourself over and over and over again. You are made by God, so you can forgive and forgive, love and move on. And don't let anyone tell you any different. Taught me that if God is my Father, He is not what He gave you. That your eyes are really the windows to your soul. So don't let anyone stare too deep. Your heart is made of gold. Remember to remind them that. That steel is cold and you are iron, just in case they ever forget that part. That whatever you sacrifice means you need to build survivor skin. You are mother of the sun. You have to be mother and merciful and still be predator. You are mother of the earth. You birth mountains and valleys. That being mother means you become more of them and less of you. That being mother means you give life no matter what. And remember that love should not be my weakness, but hope to build myself up every time I fall. To remember I'm still human before being woman. Remember to always remember who I am, even if I seem lost. That my path should not always be directed to guide others, but to fulfill myself and lead myself. And if I forget everything that I was taught by every woman in my life, and if they are not guided by the God within them, let the borders within me arise. Let go and let be. Also, everyone speaks about it like it is so easy to do. I'm still teaching my hands to let go of things not meant for it. To let go of people not meant to hold it. I'm teaching it not to feel empty just because they are not there. I'm teaching my heart to let go and not hold grudges against anyone. Not to free them and not feel lonely or lost. I'm teaching it not to make holes in itself. Not to carve out the memories in painful aches. I'm teaching the heart the difference between letting go and forgiveness. That because you are fine with them leaving means you still love them without remorse. I too am still struggling to differentiate between forgiveness and letting go with ease. So, I try to forgive my tongue for never speaking up when it had to. I try to forgive the silence I held so close when it was all I had. I try to let go of the past that still haunts me. I try to forgive the heart that never stopped beating when I asked it to. I try to forgive the mind for all its thoughts I do. I try to applaud this body for still existing, despite everything. And then I tell myself that forgiveness is not easy, but necessary. I tell myself letting go is not easy, but if I need to heal, I need to let it be. That letting go sometimes means that I will hurt my heart and soul really, really bad. But in that, I will heal my heart and soul by releasing everything not meant for it. Forgiveness is not sweet. Neither is letting go. I've learned that by teaching my broken self of all the ways it can feel better.
Because I started reading the book this morning and I'm halfway through the book because it's such a brilliantly written book. And also because I'm a really fast reader. Okay, don't be surprised. All right. But why I keep insisting on page 33 is because it's called Heart, and even though all the poems are they're good poems and they're brilliant, and it's because you're talking about who you are. You're telling us who you are. But when I read Heart, I could relate to Heart. I can relate to a lot of poems in this book, but Heart spoke to me the most because for the first time, when you wrote about Heart, I could feel you because I know you and I've had conversations with you. And I know we spend a lot of time just talking about who we are as a people, and what we'd like to achieve. And, going through, I think the last 2 weeks we've been talking a lot about narrative therapy and how poetry is healing and how writing is healing. And for me, this is narrative therapy. And how I think about narrative therapy is that there are two sides to narrative therapy. So you have process therapy, and then you have healing therapy, right? Where you take your experiences and then you write about what it is that you want to see for yourself, how you imagine yourself. And for the first time in this one poem, I could feel it. I could feel you, and I really wanted to share this before we go into an intermission.
I'm still waiting to remember the last time my heart sounded like mine, felt like it belonged to me. Owned it after it healed, or just owned it when it was not heard. I'm still waiting to remember how a heart feels like. When it has peace, when it's content with its beating. How the heart feels like when it's at home in this body. When it feels like it belongs to someone. Someone who does not question its existence. I'm still waiting for this heart to just feel like a heart and not a weapon or a hospital. Not a bullet or a remedy, but a heart at home.
I've known Leana for quite some time. I think we met in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and this was at Lifeline Childline. When I first met Leana, I was like, oh, this person, she seems like, those people who know it all, the way she would speak, the words she used when she speaks, and she likes debating on a lot of things. So sometimes if you don't know what you're talking about, rather just don't get into a debate with Leana because you'll end up losing it. So I'm just telling you already. So Leana's one of those very hardworking people, that I've met, and I'm grateful to have gotten that chance to actually get to know you. And through this journey, I've learned so much from you as well. I've really learned a lot from you, and yeah, I'm thankful for that. Okay. So, while we were on our 5-minute break, I took the time to make a few notes. Yeah. So I was privileged to get a snapshot of the new book that Leana has written, the second book. And of course, in the very beginning, one can already see that it's a very welcoming book, because the dedication she makes, it's for everyone. It makes you feel like you're being included, It's dedicated to you. So that in itself is very welcoming. It gives you that vibe to want to read the book because it's dedicated to you. So good one on that. And then, as China already mentioned earlier, there's a lot of narrative therapy within this book. And it can be a healing tool for a lot of people. A lot of people that have gone through a lot of things in life. Because as we all know, we are faced with a lot of challenges in this life. And it reminds us of how we are all unique beings, that we need to stop comparing ourselves all the time. We've all been made perfect, and in as much as we feel like we are imperfect, And just as a flower has its own time to bloom, we also have our own time for reaching our goals and our things that we have set our minds to. So that's what this book reminds me of when I read it. Okay. Sorry for the noise. it further reminds me of how God made everyone perfect, even though a lot of us have gone through a lot of discrimination within society, stigma within society, things that are expected of us within society. But when I read this book, it reminded me that you don't always have to live up to those expectations of what society expects of us. And yeah, so I'd really just like to thank Leana for a very well written book. And I hope that whoever gets a chance to read this book, that they really find healing within that book. And even if it's not for them themselves, they can share it with the next person. Especially in this line of work that we do. It can really mean a lot to a lot of people. So thank you all so much for listening.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Alright. So how I met Leana, it was through the um, counseling centers at Lifeline Childline, and the first thing I picked up about her was that she is unapologetic. Like it's who she is. That's how she does it, and if you don't like it, then that's your problem. And from that day on, I knew we could be friends with Leana. I won't spill any beans out of respect. But yeah, also had the opportunity to go through some of the poems, and one of the poems, I think it's entitled "You." Yeah. So one of the poems, there's a line that says, "You are beauty wrapped in a rainbow." And when I read that part, it really just, I reflected it on myself, and I thought of all the different colors of the rainbow that they are, which is also like the different sides of ourselves. The more colorful things are the more beautiful things, and the darker colors of the rainbow are also the darker parts of us. And it forces you to accept that and love yourself and be okay with who you are, and find yourself in the society and make a name and a place for yourself. So that is what stood out for me from some of the poems, and that is also what reflects Leana. Leana takes herself and she finds a place and she makes a statement of who she is.
Reading the book, she sent me like a sneak peek of the book because I said I'm not gonna buy it now. She was like in the office, the book is out, you can pre-order. I'm like, no, I'll buy it on the day of the launch. So she sent me a sneak peek, and I was so blessed to have received that, because instead of me trying to read this book, the book was reading me. I resonated so much with the book. It was like I went into a room, and then I just started going in and in and in and in and in into like a hole. I'm taking a journey, and I can't stop until I finish reading all the things that she sent me. I took a journey into myself, into the most ugliest parts that I didn't want, or that I didn't want to necessarily think about. I went there, but when I went there was a lot of weaknesses that I saw, to an extent that I saw strength in the weaknesses. And I was like, reborn. It gave me life. I was like, wow, I have never seen a book that gives you so much vulnerability, that lays you bare like that, and then you find strength in that. It was so powerful. It was well written. It was, for me, I've never read a book that gives me so much, in terms of self-discovery. So thank you, Leana, for such a book. I read your first book, but this one is my favorite. Thank you.
On page 12, you can kindly go to page 12. The strings of loving me. So she wanted to know what was the story behind me writing this one, and I'm just like, There's this ever need where people are like, so why are you single? Why are you not married? You know your time is running out as a woman. You know this. And I was just like, let me just write a poem for these people. Because no matter how many times you answer, it's like you don't hear the answer. Then they still ask you, but why? But why? I just gave you the why. So yeah, the strings of loving me. When they ask me, why are you single? I pause long. Not because I can't answer the question, but because I have to find probable words on how to say it. As in, I don't want to get an attitude with that woman. You see, when it comes to dating, playing games is not my forte. I don't believe in microwave relationships made up of small talk and sex. I don't believe in easy outings and holding hands. I don't believe in fading beauty and cheap wealth. When it comes to dating, boiling waters and butterflies are not my thing. You see, she is complicated. But when it comes to relationships, she holds the reins and mends the garden. She grows the flowers and enjoys the scent. She laughs slowly, but she laughs hard. She ain't playing with her heart because she breaks her own damn heart all the time. I'm a sapiosexual. I fall for intelligence and humor. In case you didn't know Makonjo, like the way your face just went. Boldness and maturity. Godliness and gentleness. I'm attracted to 3 a.m. deep conversations and open-eyed dreams. See, there are certain strings that comes with loving me, like knowing the definition of manhood, knowing that me being single does not mean I'm lonely, knowing that what you want and how I'm going to help you build it, knowing that when you come for me, what your plans are for us. See, God didn't create me for every guy that comes along. God created me for one man, just like He created Adam for Eve. Made him, made from his flesh, that is me. I don't believe in lukewarm. I don't believe in ladies. See, when it comes to loving me, I believe in honesty, trust, comfortability, and partnership. If I'm going to be your wall, you got to give me the bricks to build with. If we are going for this ride, make sure the car is fueled. And if you want to take me on this road, make sure to meet me halfway. You will have to respect my mind, my heart, and my soul before you can have any parts of me. Accept my rough edges and know that I'm still learning to smooth them out. Know that I'm still strong even when I'm broken. You must learn to listen because I like to talk even when I'm silent. I want you to see me emotionally and mentally naked and vulnerable and still see me worthy and valuable. Because when you are the right person for me, submitting won't be difficult. And no, I don't want perfect. I want you just the way you are. I want to love you with all your flaws. Because when we meet, I don't want to feel butterflies and anxiety. I want to feel comfort, just total comfort in your presence. I want to just smile at you for no reason. I want my mind to be quiet from the distant noises when I'm with you. When I'm going to kiss you for the first time, you will remember it for the next 50 years of your life. Because if you're an atheist, because if you're an atheist, I'm going to make you believe in God. Because science will not be able to explain the connection between us. And when I choose you, best believe that there's only going to be you. I don't want much. I simply want an honest relationship. And if I give you my heart, you will learn to value it. Because if you show me your heart, I will show you the love I can give it. Simple, right? So Tanya, that is your answer to the people who always ask me. So yeah. So dear people, it's an application to people, to every one of us. Us. Here are 10 things you should know and apply. 10. My position or title should not be a standard on the type of treatment I have to get. Treat everyone equal because we are all human. Period. Dear people, no one can live up to your expectations of them. No one owes you their life. Get that right before you judge. Simple. Dear people, you are society. I am society. People make up society. So when we need to fix society, can we all start with ourselves? Please? Dear people, boxes are meant to package things, not people. Stop placing people in boxes. Dear people, do not tell people how to act and then crucify them for acting accordingly. Really? It doesn't make sense. Dear people, silence speaks louder than words. Know when to talk and when to be quiet. Not everything you say is important, and not everything important needs to be said out loud. Dear people, not everyone wants your help or needs your opinions. Get the point? Dear people, how people dress and act is not for you. They act for themselves, and we dress for ourselves. So stop judging. Dear people, private means it's private. Stop pressurizing people and mind your business. And do like China is doing, drink your teas and your waters. Yes. Dear people, point number 1. We all got this life to live. Do it the best way you know how to, and allow the rest to do the same. Dear men, here are some pointers I would like to point out that you should take note of. I will not invalidate the efforts you make towards being a better person. I will not label you to be a real man or tell you to man up. I will only acknowledge you as a man. You do not need to be a giant, stoic statue to be considered a man. Your heart makes you a man, and you are because you were born a man. Dear men, real men don't exist. Just be a good man. That phrase is an insult used by other men against other men as power play. Unfortunately, that's the sad reality for others. Dear men, you are not above or below anyone. We are all equal. Please get the grip of that part. Don't use the phrase, because I'm a man, with me. Please don't. Just own up to being a human being. That's what you are, right? Respect is earned. It's not a gift or a privilege. So earn your respect. Dear men, the word right is a noun, a verb, an adverb, and an adjective, and an exclamation mark. Please do study the meaning correctly. It covers words like choice and consent. Power doesn't give you power. It makes you nasty and ugly. Know the difference. Dear men, conditioning has led to patriarchy, misogyny, and violence. And all this has led to depression, addiction, suicide, death, and broken Dear men, patriarchy is a condition. It's a power that will continue to destroy the humanity and the community. And it's poisoning all of us. Dear men, love and lust are two different concepts. Know the difference. Dear men, compassion is not a weakness. Violence is not a strength. Strength is not about physical power, and weakness is not measured by your ability to show emotion. The most hurt you and damage you do or cause is the hurt you do trying to not to hurt yourself. Selfish has always been a poison. Dear men, women are more than boobs, bodies, and beauty. Remember that the next time you want to compliment or not just the physical appearance. Dear men, do not objectify women or enslave them. Think of your mother, sister, and daughter. Dear men, a woman cannot teach you to love her properly if you cannot love yourself first. Dear men, do not prove to us your manhood through fear. Be a figure that instills humanity. And above all, dear men, it's okay to show emotion. It's okay to be emotional. You are not a stone. Dear men, above all, you are human, a living being. You feel too. So show it. You are not a caged bird. Do not be conformed to how masculinity should look like. Dear men, do not be conformed by society and trying to live up to the real man status quo. No, you are so much more than that. Remember, you too deserve love. As a son, a father, a brother, and above all, just as a human. So just step up to it. Dear men, remember, beasts are not tamed. You are not beast. You are king, priest, and son. Remember that part always. Dear men, you are protector, not perpetrator. Please remember that. Dear men, you do not break that which you love. Broken bones should not be part of the equation. We are all meant to be guilty. Dear men, why use violence to prove your manhood when simply you do not need to prove anything at all? Just be. Dear men, women are more than you think in the misconceptions you are taught to believe. Please respect and validate women too. Dear men, teach your boys how to simply step into their full potentials and being, and not to just wear the skin as an heirloom. Dear men, to be manly is actually a cliche. Dear men, do not teach young boys to man up as in to employ toxicity. Teach them to be human. That's the best they can be. Dear men, deserts receive rain too, so cry if you need to. Teach young men to cry, and if he wants to, let him cry. It's called being human with feelings. Dear men, teach your boys concepts other than sports, cars, sex, and power. Dear men, teach young boys how to build with more than just their hands and not how to break. Dear men, the type of man you would want your daughter to marry one day, be that man right now to every woman you encounter. Dear men, above all, remember, you are human long before you are defined as a man. You forget, I was the earth beneath your feet long before you knew how to walk. The wind that whispered your name long before it echoes. The ocean long before the breeze could be felt. You forget how significant I was and still am without you. I believe as humans, we always have this thing of, so as in a way for me to feel better, I have to project my insecurities. And it's a human thing. We do that a lot. always project it in different ways, even without us noticing. And this specific one, this specific one was to one specific person that is not here, luckily. But it started feeling like, without me, you need me in your life, kind of thing. And I just had to also remind myself that I am Leana. I am me. And even if the person leaves, people come and live our lives. It happens. Sometimes we outgrow, sometimes they outgrow us. And it's normal, it's a process. So to me, it was a thing that even if they leave, my reminder to myself is that I'm still going to be each and everything that I am without them. Okay. Boxes is, I will not tolerate sexist comments about who I am. I will not be defined by a tick in a box that society made up. I will not be reduced to be a living dead person. I owe my character to no one. I will not be conformed and placed into a box. I owe me to myself. So I will tick my own damn boxes. Okay, this one says mirrors. Let me see you before you see me. Sometimes when I look at you, I don't remember me. Hey little you, show me what you see. Let the reflection be me. What are you made up of, little round glass? Your power to reflect me is so beautiful. Let the mirror be your gateway to heaven. Mirrors. The mirror can break you or make you. It's all about what you see or hear, so listen carefully. Mirrors. Silver is deceiving. It changes your vision. Be it reflective of you or receiving of others. That will be the mirror in your hand. Wow. This title. So my first book is Painfully Beautiful. And everyone asked why Painfully Beautiful. And I told them I would like to believe because life, as much as it's painful, it's still beautiful. It just depends from which perception or perspective we are looking at it from. How you feel in that moment. A painful event, after a while, holds so much beauty and strength in it. So when I came up with a second title, Shattered and Surviving, I was like, we are all pieces. No one is a whole, not yet. We are all pieces. We are shattered in different directions. You can't say you got yourself figured out and you know yourself fully because you are evolving every day. And you have all these pieces that you yourself are trying to place together to see where does it fit in, how, why, and how can I move with these pieces forward with all the pain you hold, all that grief, or everything inside of you that you feel is ugly or is very painful. It actually makes you. We are so much more than just walking bodies. So when I came with this title, I was like, as much as we are shattered, we are still surviving. Because we've got this. We are pushing, we are moving, we are marching, we are fighters. And that is why at the back, I said, if you read at the back, this is like a small substance of what the title really is. It's like, I believe we are all heroes every day, fighting battles within ourselves and fighting for those around us. We are fighting a battle to make the world a better place. And that to me is heroic. So that to me is the real reflection on the title because it's about each and every one of us. So yes. The positives and the negatives are covered in what I just said. Yeah.